All right, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Appreciate it as always. So let's get these 5x5s out of the way. Kathy, thank you for the 5x5. Wide awake, I'm going to address that in a little bit. So thank you for bringing that up. Flown Grown, Occult Prepper, Mr. Landfill, Johnny, Evolving Media, thank you for the 5x5. Maria, Streetwise, Miss Puff, Cowboy, Tazale, thank you for the 5x5. Bass, Colt, Witty, Prep to Adapt, Groundhog, Joe, Kathy, Vizard, Rhonda, Raccoon, thank you for the 5x5. Dobie, Thomas, Miss Nancy, Salty Dog, Mama Bear, thank you for the 5x5. Brian, Occurs, Cheek Dog, Wake Up, Let's Go, thank you for the 5x5. Yeah, Comet Moon. And it's funny because I was ready. I had everything, like all ready to rock and roll. I was like, all right, I'm gonna start on time. And then I get into not a debate, but I listened to a debate on Instagram about weightlifting, and I was just like, oh, that it was an interesting debate. But anyway, Linda, Orlando, thank you for the 5x5. Wooder dude, thank you for that. Prior, prior round. 8215, thank you for the 5x5. Renee, David, Nobody Special, thank you for the 5x5. Demon D, whatever, Black Wolf. Jerry. YouTube changed the whole name thing again. Again, they changed this shit. It's a lot smaller than it is. Darius, Gray, thank you for the 5x5. Jay Tharp, New World, thank you for the 5x5. Adam, thank you for the 5x5. Romy Davis, the whole moving thing. Like I said, I had 2 years till I retire. Right? It's 2 to 5, but every day I go into work, that 5 year needle keeps moving closer to two. And I've been telling a lot of people too. But if Memdani wins, I might have to get out of the city sooner than that, or just watch the city collapse while I film it, and then do my 2 years and then leave. But I have been somewhat looking outside of New York City, but nothing is jumping at me because everything is too expensive. So unless I move like down south, I have to wait till I retire. Johnny 308, it's insane. Tristan, thank you for 5x5. IP Standing, thank you for nice. Thank you for the 5x5. Kimberly, thank you for the 5x5. Don't eat the urinal mints. I don't know. I don't know what's. I mean, we know that society's collapsing. It clearly is, and I think, guys, society was collapsing before the arm tick was introduced, right? Because look at all the crazy shit that was going on before Mister 19, and not like a lot of crazy shit, but yes, the Matrix is definitely is glitching. Um, but thank you for the donation. I don't even know how to say that because that shit's like all one word. Lions Den. Don't go in the Lions Den. Is that what that says? Whatever. But thank you for the donation. Appreciate it. But yeah, if Memdani wins, the city's undoubtedly going to fall apart. And a lot of people are asking me, what are you going to do? I got 2 years left, man. So, I mean, I was out of here regardless. But even with Memdani not being in office, the one thing that is escalating here are the drug addicts. And they might be getting piled into this neighborhood because every day is just more of them. I mean, way more. And the crazy shit is, there's girls here. Like I saw two chicks, and you can tell both of them actually used to be hot, chicks, right? But they both had like plastic surgery. I think one has, had big ass titties, and the other one had a fake ass. But you could see the draw on their face, and you could smell it. Um, Someone says, "Are you hoping for a pension?" I'm not hoping for a pension. I'm getting a pension. What the hell do I have to hope for a pension for? It's mine. Anyway, um, So, you know, like looking at these ladies, because I see them every now and again, like they're milling around the building for whatever reason. Not for whatever reason. I know why they're milling around the building, but I see them come in and out of it, and I'm just looking at them. I'm like, how the fuck did that happen? And a lot of people who are hooked on drugs seemingly get hooked on drugs later in life. Like, when I was growing up, that shit was you know, like young people got hooked on it. You know, you went to clubs, you hung out, you snorted coke. Before you know it, you were fucking hitting the crack pipe, right? So, yes, for the doggies, I got it. I just got to pick a day and do this walkthrough. Because every time I do the walks, it's during the day. Maybe if I do it closer till, I guess closer to 7 o'clock, you know, you can get a grass roll, or maybe in the middle of the day. Maybe do it in the middle of the day. Or sort of Allah. Definitely, because listen, whatever this guy does to the city is just not going to be good. And like I said, the drug population here is just skyrocketing. I was going for a walk today, and here's the problem, guys. These stories that I tell you, they're going to be more and more because they're seemingly more and more. So I go for a walk. You know, I go for my ruck. Did I have my ruck today? No, I didn't. I didn't have my ruck today. I just went for a timed walk to go faster, to walk faster. So I'm minding my business. I'm shuffling and shit, you know, and I'm coming down the hill, and I take my phone, and I'm adjusting my pants as I'm going down the hill. And a crackhead is sitting off to the side, and he's like, "You filming me?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "You filming me?" So I stop. I turn the music off. I walk over to him. I'm like, "The fuck you say to me?" He goes, "Why are you filming me?" I'm like, "Why the fuck would I want to film you, crackhead?" So now we're getting into it. He's like, "Yo, well, that's one hell of a way to hold your phone." I'm like, "Don't worry about how I fucking hold my phone." And I said, even if I was filming you, there wasn't shit you were going to do about it. I went from 0 to 60 like that because I was annoyed. I'm like, I'm walking, I'm minding my business, I'm shuffling along and shit. And then he's talking about filming. I'm like, why the fuck would I be filming you? I said, secondly, I do a lot of filming, and if you're doing something wrong, so be it. He's like, yo, you know, he goes, I don't like people filming me. I'm like, you know what? Go fuck yourself. So with that, he said something else to me, and I just kept walking. So I go around sorry, I'm looking for the rumble. I go around, I guess the building, right? The block. I go around the block. I get around the block. I'm like, fuck it. You know, today's a good day to fight. And with that, I go back to the block where the guy is. Dano, not in the lion's den. Thank you. Thank you for the donation, and thank you for clearing that up. So I go back around and I approach him. I'm like, yo, so what's up? And he's like, yo, he says, I wasn't fucking filming you. Why would I fucking film a crackhead? I said, you know what? For that, I said, you know what? I'm going to start filming you crackheads because there's more and more of you in the neighborhood. So now we start talking. And I went from wanting to, you know, go hands-on to talking to the guy. And I looked at him like, this dude looks familiar. And I don't say anything to him at first. And he's talking. I'm like, you live around here, right? Or used to live around here? He goes, yeah. He goes, I used to be in the shit. You know, I used to be out here making money. And now I'm homeless. And I'm a drug addict. I'm like, you're a crackhead. And he's like, well, you know, I'm down on my luck. I'm like, you're down on your luck because you're doing it to yourself. Like, down on your luck is like losing your job because the company fucking decided to shift their entire company to another country and you lost your job that way and you can't find work. That's down on your luck. You know, your car breaking down, that's down on your luck. Actively smoking crack in his chair in the middle of the street, that's not down, you know, that's self-inflicted. He's like, yeah, you know, I know a lot of people. And I'm like, well, if you know a lot of people, clean yourself up and fucking get back to it. Anyway, we have this dialogue now. We're just going back and forth with like the shit that's going on. And he's telling me how smart he is. And, you know, he's like, oh, I'm smart, this, that, and the third. I'm like, yo, you can't be that smart, man. You're fucking smoking crack at 40-something years old. He goes, I'm 46 or 45. I'm like, he goes, I just started doing this 2 years ago. I go, why the fuck would you start now? You're like, in your 40s, you're past the fucking halfway point, right? So, and why would you start this shit? He's like, oh, I just got sucked into it. I'm like, James, thank you for the donation, man. I'm like, yo, something's off. I said, and so I'm like, why did you get into it so late? Because now I'm curious. He goes, I was just hanging around the wrong crowd. I'm like, at 40 fucking 5 years old, or 2 years ago, 43 years old, you hang around the wrong crowd? That doesn't make any sense. Anyway, we're getting a couple more things. He goes, oh, there's some people coming by, and if they see you standing here, they may have a problem. I said, so there's more people for me to punch in the face? Is that what you're telling me? He's like, nah, they just don't feel comfortable around strangers. I'm like, yo, I said, I live in this neighborhood. I'm not going to let you people tell me where I can and can't stand. He was like, oh, listen, I don't want them to feel weird. I'm like, fuck them. So now the conversation is going back in the opposite direction. So anyway, all that to say is I walked away, and he said, he was like, oh, we'll see each other again. I said, listen, I said, I live here. I almost said this is my neighborhood. I said, I live here. You'll see me more than enough. And he was like, all right. And then that was it. I walked off. And, the drugs in this neighborhood's out of control. And the crazy shit is the city is not doing anything about it. So I told you guys before, there's a legal shooting gallery down the block from me. And for those that are asking might be asking what a legal shooting gallery is, it's a place where drug addicts can go and comfortably get high. Right? They got pillows and shit, right? They got mood music playing in the background, waterfall trickling in the corner, those plug-in waterfalls trickling in the corner. They give them fresh needles on their bed, and then the person who puts the room together for them, is there anything else I could do for you? And then they go, no, and they go in the room and they get high, right? And they get all zonked out and shit. They're supposed to, after they wake them up, and sometimes they wake them up via Narcan, they're supposed to talk to them about their life choices and how to clean up. And there's all of this. There used to be, I don't know if there is, there's all this brochures and shit on how to clean yourself up and what you should do with your life. And I'm like, they are hanging Narcan in the trees. No, but I mean, now that they're letting everybody, Narcan, like they're suggesting almost every citizen in a city like New York and PA carry Narcan. And I wasn't going to carry it, and I still haven't gotten it yet. I know there's a million places I can go to get it, actually. Actually, the shooting gallery, they have them. I can go there. Sword of Allah. It's coming back. Crack is making a major comeback in the city. And again, when I do the walkabouts, you'll see. A lot of these people are like, oh, don't film me. Automatically I go into fight mode. I'm like, if you want to do something about it, get this camera out of my hands. Right? Flashlight. I want to see Weapons. I'm dying to see that movie, actually. So anyway, all of that to say, guys, is that New York City is as far as drug addicts go, car break-ins and shit like that, it's on a decline. Major crimes like murders and shit like that, that's on a decline, but that's for now. Who knows what it's going to look like when Mandani gets in. I don't know. But Betty goes, if you give them Narcan, they will fight you. So then guess what's going to happen when they fight? Right in the vagina. Boom. Dan, thank you for the donation again, man. Appreciate it. But, yeah, the movie Weapons I definitely want to see. Stray Kitten, that's what it's going to be. The walkabout's going to be alive. It's not going to be, it's definitely... Yeah, sorry, I was reading somebody's comment. It's going to be alive. I'm not going to do video recording, because at least you guys can see the shit unfold as it unfolds. But yeah, automatically looking to mix it up, just because these fucking people and the crazy. Listen, here the problem is that these people are doing the drugs in the middle of the street. And I told the guy, I said, listen, when school starts, you're not going to be doing this shit here. He's like, well, we'll just move. He's like, there's nowhere for us to go. It's 2025. I said, listen, I don't care what your excuse is. You're not going to be doing it in the street by the school. I don't care where you go. I don't care if you do it by the river. I don't care if you go over to the 181 Park over there on the east side, but you ain't doing it here. And he was like, well, people, it's different times now. I said, I don't care what other excuse you're going to use. You're not doing it here. So figure it out. Because if I catch you here, I'm a fucking... And I told her, it's just going to be me. I'm not coming back here with a group of dudes. I'm not going to be like, yo, it's just me. You guys are going to have to deal with that. And I said, whether it's 6 of you and 1 of me or vice versa, I said, it's going to go down. And I'm going to be a thorn in your side every fucking day. Even if you guys beat me up, when I heal, I'll be back fucking mixing it up. I said, that's how it's going to go. And he was like, all right. He said, we'll find somewhere the fuck else to go. I'm like, you guys can't be doing this shit here. It's as simple as that. You know? But, Highlander. Mamdani's going to win. So Mamdani's getting the backing. There are a lot of players here that are waiting. It's August, right? And the election's in November. There are a lot of players that are waiting. And the closer to the election they get, a lot of the heavy hitter politicians are signing up with Mamdani. As soon as they sign up with Mamdani, he's getting all the votes. He's getting all the heavy hitters to side with him. Adams doesn't have a leg to stand on. Adams is actually, in some polls, he's not doing good at all. And other polls, he's doing okay, but Mamdani is, if I'm not mistaken, leading in all the polls, right? So you have that, that's bad. That's bad. And so if he wins, the amount of shit that's going to happen in New York City is going to be it's going to be unheard of. I mean, he was talking about defunding the police. He was talking about, why do people keep thinking that I'm Bear Independent? Did Bear get a tan or some shit and I didn't know about it? But anyway, he was already talking about defunding the police like a couple weeks ago. Like right before that cop got shot at the Blackstone facility or building, excuse me. Right before that, he was talking about defunding the cops. And then that happened. And then here's the crazy shit, guys. Mamdani has been seen backing people who hate Israel and who hate Jews. He is in cahoots with these people. And he's still winning in the polls. He got 47%, like I said before, he got 47% of the younger Jewish votes, 18 to 40. 67%, excuse me. 67% of them. 67. I mean, yo, it's bad, right? And so, yes, he's going to win. The long short of it, he's going to win. You know? And then we're going to watch, like I said in my video, we're going to watch on the world stage New York City fall apart. So, and even Kathy Hochul is thinking, the governor of New York is thinking about backing Mamdani. She's put... When I heard that, I was like, are you fucking... And they had words with each other. But now that she's backing him, that's a political move. That's a power move. Yeah, Stray Kitten, Angry and Bear look so much alike, it's hard to tell them apart. Apparently, man, I'm like, what did fucking Bear roast in the sun or some shit all of a sudden? You know, lose his hair completely? You know, like, well, anyway. Salty Dog, yeah, man, it's not looking good for New York City. That's the bottom line. Maria and Prep to Adapt, thank you for the 5x5 on Rumble. I just saw that. He wants to retire too. He's been a cop for 38 years. Glamour. I'm just seeing this now. A cop for he should have retired fucking 18 years ago. 38 years he's been a cop. Loved his job until 5 years ago. He says people have changed. Yeah, Glamour. The people have changed all over the world. It's actually really fucking bad. Just what I'm seeing, the stories I'm hearing. I'm gonna talk about a story tomorrow morning on the Wednesday midweek report. Yeah, it's a pretty heinous story. Actually, two stories. One is not heinous. One is very interesting, and the other one is pretty bad. And we're seeing more of these kind of incidents going on. Thomas, listen. I don't. You know what? Again, I don't mind. People's crack. No, I don't like crackheads. I don't like drug addicts, and I don't like that they're in the street. But what I do not like is the fact that everybody walks past them and don't say a word to them. Don't say nothing. They're like, and then that when we huddle together, they're like, look at that, these drug addicts, this, that, and the third, and now, they're banding together, and then getting people like they're taking the neighborhood over, like what happened in Kensington, PA, right, or Philly, Kensington, Philly. But yeah, it's only getting worse, and I don't know. For the doggies, I have a theory about that, about people being possessed. I think that there's something in the on ticket that's allowing people's psychosis to change. If you want to entertain that theory on a spiritual level, I do think that there's something in regards to that, because the amount of heinous acts that are going on, at least here in the United States, I mean, around the world it's bad, but here in the United States, yeah. And yeah, All American Prepper, thank you for joining us. He goes, it's going to get worse before it gets worse. It's going to get a hell of a lot worse. I think, guys, what we're going to start seeing is going to be something super fucking scary within the next few years. That is not for us to get nervous and scared. That is just to realize what direction we are going in. And the direction we are going in is not a good one. And people need to realize that and be ready for whatever might happen. I'm not saying that it's going to get fucking, like the wild. It is turning into the Wild West in regards to drugs. What happens next? It's going to be bad. And then when you get people like Mamdani, who's going to win the mayoral election, get into office and wreck the city even more, things are going to get far worse, like in places in New York. And we're going to see more mayors like Mamdani take over. You had some Asian mayor, I think she was in Philly. Is that the Asian mayor that's in Philly? Or is it a black chick? I can't remember who it was. But I know there's another Asian mayor like Chicago, some shit out there. And there was an incident that happened where a guy went on a stabbing spree. He stabbed a bunch of people. And the mayor, no, he wound up knifing a bunch of people. The cops took him out. And then the mayor apologized to the family of the guy who was knifing people, saying sorry for your loss. The criminal, the bad guy, the animal in the whole situation. Yeah, no, Thomas, we don't need National Guards in New York City. And listen, National Guards in New York City, National Guards being federalized is a bad idea. It's always a bad idea. I know I got into this debate in the firehouse, guys. It's not good. You cannot be for the Constitution and a constitutionalist and think that's okay. You cannot. There has to be other ways to fight crime, and having fucking National Guardsmen who have itchy trigger fingers, not good. Like, not at all. Wide Awake. That's exactly it. Mamdani popped up out of nowhere. Like, this dude was just like, I'm here. And I'm like, who's Mamdani? I'm running for mayor of New York City. I'm like, never heard of him. He's like, well, I want to, I want to defund the police. I want to do this. I want to do that. And he's winning. This man came out of nowhere. I can't blame NYC for finally not electing a rotten Jew, although I'm not sure a Muslim is better. Listen, Mamdani's not any better. I mean, at this, some guy just threw his hat in the ring. Some businessman just threw his hat in the ring. I want to say Australian, but I'd be wrong. But some dude just threw his hat into the mayor, because he thinks Mamdani's going to run out a lot of businesses. I think so too. A lot of people think what he's going to do next is going to, again, tank the entire country. But we shall see. We shall see where this goes. But, yeah, my walkabout, I just got to fucking make it happen. Yeah, Maria Jackson said I lost 3 pounds, and no one chewed my food. Listen, that food chewing shit was fucking bizarre. Again, society's collapsing, and since I was a kid, I think since we were kids, a lot of us remembered people talking about the collapse of society and how man was going to collapse under its own pressure, if you will. And I heard this my entire childhood growing up. And there was a point in time where it didn't seem like that was happening, right? And you sort of thought to yourself, oh, okay, that person was crazy. Here we are in 2025. We are watching man collapse under its own pressure. Brian, the Guardian Angels are active in New York City, but the Guardian Angels in New York City are a bunch of nerds. They're a bunch of kids that got picked on and, like nerdsters that decided, oh, today I'm going to join the Guardian Angels. The Guardian Angels back then used to be some Billy badasses. The Guardian Angels now, not so much. You should see them. You see when they're marching in the street, they look like fucking ultra nerds. They got their little combat boots on, their pants. They're like, I'm a Guardian Angel. With their little fucking beret tilted on their head. I'm like, what are you going to do? And the last time I saw a Guardian Angel was like last year, walking in the street. Little chick. She had to be like 4'9", 400 fucking pounds. And she was walking through the street like she was a badass. I'm like, bitch, all I got to do is tilt you over and you're going to be rolling around on the ground. You can't get back up again. Should have seen this. She was walking around like she was a little hard ass. I was like, yeah, meatball. As soon as someone pushes you over, you're going to roll down the fucking street, down the hill. No one's going to be able to catch you. You might even kill fucking 8 people the way you're rolling down the hill. But again, man. Yeah, Prepper Revelator's down a bunch of weight. So, yes, congratulations to him. I think he said he was down 40 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. Jonathan's asking me, how much longer till I leave the city? 2 years at best. But, we'll see. Might be sooner than that. But yeah, it's wild when you watch some of these new Guardian Angel dudes. You're just like, what the fuck, man? Like, get it together. But this is the difference between the 80s and 2025. Yeah, that's the Guardian Angel, a little fucking meatball. I mean, don't get me wrong, they could use it as a weapon. Like if they're up against a bunch of crackheads, like the crackheads on the hill, just have her roll down the hill and take them all out. They could do that. But as far as badassery, yeah, I don't see that. Dan, are you leaving? AP's never leaving New York City. I am when I retire. I mean, not for nothing. Let's forget about the crime. Let's forget about the crime, the drug addicts, the amount of guarding you have to do on your car. Forget about all of that. Just the city sucks, man. It's just crowded. It's too loud. People are fucking arrogant pieces of shit. You want to beat everybody's ass on a daily basis. It's enough. Cool kid. Yeah, I agree. Both separate. Never. No shit. Patients never. No. And cool kid. I've said that multiple times. I said the psych medications that they give these people today, the psych patients out there, it doesn't do any good. It never has. I had an aunt who had psych issues. She was on meds for years, and it only got worse. Thank you, not in the lines, Dan. Appreciate it. Or Dan, rather. Dano. So anyway, I watched her. I watched her for years, and then again, I told you this last week maybe. When I became an EMT and I started seeing psych patients, we started picking people up. People got worse over the years. You never get better. There is no getting better. There might be a quality of life in the beginning when you are given these meds, but in the end, you wind up getting sick from the meds. You wind up going completely crazy, or you get tossed into a psych ward because you can't be managed. Now, I tell you people the stories of last week of going into these people's homes that look like shit. Like, only people with psychological issues can live in a roach, rat, mold-infested home with nothing there. I don't understand why we allow them to live in homes. And then think, and the crazy shit, when you talk to these people, these idiots, the caseworkers, psychiatric caseworkers, these morons, these piece of shit of the world think that these people can live a manageable life on the outside if they take their meds. And that, Nostradamus, that's a good point. You're not a patient, right? You're a cash flow. And that's probably all it is. I've never, ever, in my 20-something years of being an EMT and a fireman, have ever seen anybody get better from this shit. You don't. Meds make it worse. Vitamins can help. It doesn't cure the problem. Diet can cure some psychiatric problems, not all. But medications, they don't do a fucking thing. They don't help at all. There is zero, what you call it, for these people. Their longevity is fucking done. Once they're diagnosed with whatever they're diagnosed with, they should be put in an insane asylum. Period. They should be heavily medicated in an insane asylum, given some ice cream, let them watch The View, because fuck them, why not, right? And then that's it for them. But to turn them out into the street and tell them you could live a productive life and be a productive part of society. I watched a guy on the fire department who had psych issues, and we knew it. Just some of this shit that he did, he was a psych issue. He wound up being transferred to a couple firehouses before he left. But he was a good dude. Like, we got along, right? Because crazy recognizes crazy. We got along, but I could tell that he was on meds. And I'm like, this guy's never going to get better. Well, lo and behold, a couple months ago, he retired, right? So he was done with the fire department and he had to leave. He just wasn't going to get better. And I don't see his wife staying with him too much longer. I see him, again, going all in, and then that's it. And it's not good. And you watch a lot of people go from crazy to worse. Little bit. Yeah, watching fat people fall can be fun. Especially if they're like barrel chested into the stomach, and then they fall and they tilt up. It's like watching a boat rock, but a fat person. It could be fun, and then sometimes it's painful to watch. And what's painful to watch when a fat person falls is them trying to get up. I can't get up. And they're rocking around their back like a turtle in a shell. That can be fun. But yeah, psych patients need to go back into an institute. The reason why they're out in the world is because the institutions were horrible conditions. The institutions were the worst place humanity had to offer the people. And there's certain places on the other side of this world that are still like that. But here in the United States, it was bad. It was the worst. People have ever seen it. Now, here's the rub with the whole psychological issue thing. I've been meaning to talk about this for 2 weeks, but because I keep getting fucking distracted. So here, I read about this a little bit last week, but let's go over the whole list entirely of as far as things going on and why people feel the way they do. And the psychological side effects that do happen. Now, there's a lot going on in space, right? There is the solar flares or coronal mass injections that can affect human health in a few ways, primarily through disruption of electromagnetic field and the atmosphere. While there's no direct evidence that solar flares directly cause physical harm, some studies suggest a correlation between solar activity and various health issues, particularly sleep disruption and cardiovascular problems. Now, sleep disruption, guys, serious sleep disruption can lead to psychological issues or mental health issues, right? So the less sleep you have, the more disruptive your brain can become and the more problems you have down the line. So if you don't fix your sleeping problem, you can develop some psychiatric problems. You can. Not that you will, right? Some people can, some people won't. Right? So disruption of sleep and mental health. Sleep disruption. Geomagnetic storms, often referred to or associated with CMEs, can interfere with sleep patterns, making it harder to fall asleep or stay asleep. This can lead to fatigue, irritability, and even increased anxiety and depressive symptoms. Geomagnetic storms. So I have been in firehouses, either mine or others, where guys would be like, they felt off, or they couldn't get a good night's rest. They were at home. They get back into the firehouse and like, I couldn't sleep. I've been sleeping like shit the last couple of days. And you would hear a lot of guys say this shit, and you're like, something's up. Well, that could be it, right? That could be one of the problems. The sun has been super active, and we are entering, or will be entering, a more active sun period, where the sun's activity is going to be like something that we've never seen, according to NASA scientists. That could be bad if that is true, and not for Earth, but for people and our mental health. Some research suggests a link between solar activity and increased anxiety, mood swings, and cognitive impairment, meaning forgetting shit, right? Psychological effects, or physiological effects, cardiovascular issues. Studies have indicated a possible correlation between geomagnetic disturbance and increased risk of cardiovascular events like heart attacks and strokes. Now, keep this in mind. I'm reading this, and I looked at the sleep disruption part, and I'm like, okay, that could be. The moon plays a heavy role in psychiatric problems, mental health issues, and things like that. And you notice that on full moons, if you're a cop, EMT, or correction officer, right, you're in the field, you get crazier nights on full moons because the moon has a sway or way on the human brain and human body. Excuse me. So yes, that part. But we're running into a lot of cardiovascular issues now, and I'm wondering if they're going to start using space as the excuse for the problems we're seeing with the cardiovascular issues, because they don't want to admit to the on ticket being that problem. So you have to, when you read information like this, you got to balance out what excuse they're going to use and what excuse might be the truth. And not to sit here and dismiss this completely, but just know, guys, that they can definitely play that game with letting us, with giving us information they want us to believe. So other potential impacts, some individuals may be more sensitive to the change in the Earth's magnetic field. They said that the Earth's core flipped a year or two ago. So that could be the increase in psychological issues that we're seeing now as well. Could be. Potentially experiencing headaches, nausea, and general discomfort during geomagnetic storms. Circadian rhythm disruption, that's sleep disruption. Solar activities can affect circadian rhythm, potentially impacting sleep, hormonal regulations, and overall health. Hormonal regulations, lady, that refers to you guys who are entering your menopausal period. It could make this worse. The effects on physical activity and behavior. Increased anxiety and impulsivity. Some researchers suggest that solar storms can trigger anxiety and potentially lead to impulsive behaviors due to the disruption in the circadian rhythm. This is according to the San Francisco Chronicles. Okay. Solar flares and CMEs can also disrupt communication systems. You know that. GPS, power grid, which can indirectly stress and cause anxiety due to the inconvenience and potential safety concerns. Now, a bad solar storm, a bad solar storm can affect electronics. Again, there was a Japanese study done a few years ago where they talked about people suffering from depression or possibly offing themselves if their cell phones were not to work. So I think that in itself is very interesting, that the human race is so interconnected with technology that if we lost the ability to use our phones, people would off themselves. Now, there's a video of a lady who threw a temper tantrum on a train in, I want to say, Korea or Japan. It was one of the people with the chinky eyes, right? The country with the chinky eyes. and she was throwing a shit fit because her phone died, and she couldn't charge her phone. I think her battery pack was dead, and she flipped out. And that was just one example. You have people whose phones are about to die, and you can see them a visual panic in their face because they're out and about and they're like, my phone's about to die. Now, us older generation, our phone dies. I go, oh, well, I'll charge it when I get home. But the younger generation, they flip out over this shit because they think that the moment the phone is done, there's a huge disconnect, and then they fall apart. So there is that. Reduced lung function. I thought this one was interesting. Studies have shown solar activities in geomagnetic disturbance can impair lung function, especially in the elderly. Not a direct cause, but this is just a suggestion. There's a study suggesting correlation between solar activity and health issues. These are not definitive causal links. Many other factors can cause these health issues. And then they have, they're doing future research to find out whether or not this is true. So, again, with everything going on, guys, keep in mind, everything is going on now, right? We had a bullshit pandemic. We had an arm ticket handed out to people. We have the Earth and space doing its own thing right now. You have the crustal shift that people think is going to happen soon. And I don't think it's going to happen like the movies, like in 2012 where the crust shifted all in one day. The crust is going to shift over time. It's probably going to shift over the next few thousand years. And so that's fairly fast. That's still fast, a few thousand years. A few million years is super slow. A few thousand years is still fairly fast when you're talking in regards to the planet and the crust shifting and landmass shifting. That's still fairly fast because we will see a lot of those major shifts in the form of heavy earthquakes. So there is that. But, guys, these are the things that are this is probably why we've been feeling off amongst them introducing an arm ticket that doesn't work. Right? And so, the crazy shit about the arm ticket when it was given out to us, or given to people, excuse me, there was a Rachel Maddow video. I'm gonna do a video on that on the Angry Truth channel. But she talked about how if you took the arm ticket, that the Mr. 19 event was gonna stop dead in its tracks. That it was gonna stop with you. You took it, it was gonna stop with you. Doctors told you to stop the spread of Mr. 19, you had to take the vaccine. It's gonna stop with you. You are gonna be the cure to stop this problem. They were trying to sell you and try to make you look like a hero for taking the arm ticket. Look at the posters and cartoons they had of people taking the arm tickets, and they stood there with their hands on their hips and a cape blowing in the background. I'm like, 22 flow, I overthink a lot of shit. That's not always a good thing, but it's not always a bad thing either. So, right, so then they had people believing that they were going to be the savior of the Mr. 19 event for taking the arm ticket. And now look where we are. We got people dropping like flies left and right. They're slowly starting to admit that maybe the arm ticket didn't work, when we know that it wasn't a maybe, it doesn't work at all. I don't even think it worked a little bit. People seem to think it worked a little bit. You got people waking up right now and going, yeah, I made a mistake. You sure did. Sure made a mistake. That's fucking the truth. I never heard of it before. Sorry. Oh, SpongeBet says we're supposed to have a black moon this weekend. I heard of a black moon before. Black moon is sometimes often referred to as a new moon because there's no sun shining on it, but you can still see it. It's an interesting event. But there are a lot of strange things happening on SpongeBet. That's for fucking sure. Right. So anyway, guys, we went through this whole thing, and now we're watching. Thank you, Tasha. We're watching people pop up with cancer, left and right. Cardiac issues through the roof. Kids are developing the big C where they should not be developing it. You got psychiatric problems that are through the roof. There are more people doing dumb shit, which I don't understand. Like, the society today, guys, knows that there are cameras everywhere. Everywhere. No matter where you go, there's a camera watching you do something. And yet, people are still doing it as if they're not going to get caught. That's the more bizarre shit. Flashlight, that phrase, turbo cancer, has been coined now. That's a new term. And people are like, well, you know, it's because of one thing and one thing only. There was no, you know, Turbo Mr. C before that or Turbo Big C before that. There wasn't. And then all of a sudden something gets introduced into people's arms, and now we got this problem a year or two later from when people started getting this arm ticket. You got people complaining about they have not felt the same since they took it. People have been complaining that they felt off body-wise, felt sick, always getting Mr. 19. And all because they wanted people to take something that was not needed. And then, again, trying to make you feel like a superhero. Oh, you don't want to feel like a superhero? You could feel like a fed superhero, and we'll get you a cheeseburger and french fries if you get this in your arm. Listen, there is nothing more in this world I want to do right now than throw a fucking hard pair of loafers at de Blasio for that bullshit. Eating the burger on fucking... Like I said, I will not eat at Shake Shack ever again. I ate a couple times afterwards, but once I forgot what I was looking at after I had Shake Shack, I'm like, I'm never eating there again. And it actually was a video of de Blasio eating that burger on national TV, local TV, to get people to take it. How? You knew something was wrong with that arm ticket when you were fucking going out of your way, guys, to have people pay people to take something they didn't need. When you told them they were going to get a voucher for this store, that store, they were going to get extra money in their paycheck, they were going to get a bonus in their paycheck if they took it. They were going to get free burgers and fries, and I forgot who was giving away hot dogs. Hot dogs. I'll go to the store and buy my own hot dogs. How about that? Something was wrong with that if they were coercing people to take something that they did not want. And then when all of that failed, what did they start doing? They started threatening your jobs. They were like, oh, we gave you the chance. We were offering you food and money. Some supermarkets were offering a voucher as well. We were offering you this stuff to take it. And now we're going to take your jobs if you don't take it. And then people started hustling. Oh, yeah, flashlight. I forgot about the free donuts, too. Krispy Kreme bride, thank you. Jamerk or Jahir Merk, whatever you, yeah. Yo, that's crazy. Yes, G2. The red flags were everywhere. Yeah, everywhere. Yo, I mean, people will go on banana. They're like, companies are just like, we need you to take this. We'll give you a free whatever. I'm surprised Apple didn't give away like free iPads for this shit, you know? But, yo, they tried everything, and when that didn't work, they went after your jobs. And they knew that was going to work. And listen, I tell people all the time, you had a choice. You had a choice. There was no such thing as not having a choice. You had a choice. You chose to take it. The fire department and police department, at least in New York, I can't speak for anywhere else, we had a choice. And we had the city on the ropes. And I told people this afterwards, and they go, you think so? I go, no, I know so. I said, I would bet you my paycheck for the rest of the year, we had the city on the fucking ropes. And as soon as we started buckling, the city was like, oh, more and more people are taking the arm ticket. We got them. Now we got them where we want them. And they did exactly that. They got us where they wanted us. And then for those of us that didn't took it, they told us, fuck off. Kick rocks. And a lot of us left. Some of us kicking and screaming, but a lot of us left. And the lot of us that left, only a few of us came back. Now, a couple of guys weren't coming back because they already had like 30 years on. I spoke to one old timer. He was like, oh, how'd you get back? I want to get back. I'm like, how much time you have on? He goes, 27 years. I'm like, don't do it. Don't come back. What are you coming back for? He's like, I just don't like the way it ended. I said, I don't give a shit, man. You got 27 years. stay the fuck out of this. Don't come back to this shit. It don't make any sense. He was like, yeah. I said, are you getting comfortable with your retirement now? He goes, yeah. I go, don't come back. I struggled when I came back. And I was 10 years younger than him. He had to be like 55. Not, at the time, I was 10 years younger than him. Sorry. I told him, yeah, don't do it, man. Just stay the fuck out of this. I said, I'm going to finish up my career on the right note, and I'm out of here. I'm going to bounce. I'm going to walk out of the door like a gentleman this time around. I said, but they are angling for us to take some shit. There are just too many things popping up right now. You got the Legionnaire's disease here in New York City. That took out, if I'm not mistaken, so far 5 people. So, which, again, guys, is not a big deal, right? Yes, granted, for those who lost their family members, it sucks for them. But 5 people out of 8 million, that's nothing. That's a drop in a bucket, right? So, a lot of people are, like, oh my God, 5 people from Legionnaires. Okay. When we start talking about a few thousand, then you can be a little concerned. 5 people. And it's just a little. The only alarming thing is that it's not like they lost 5 people within the same time frame. They lost 5 people over the last 4 or 5 weeks, or 6 weeks now. So it's almost a person a week that they're losing to Legionnaires, and it's wild that they can't hone in on where this infection is coming from or where this bad water is coming from. So they currently have a bunch of people sick in the hospital, though. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's over 100 cases of Legionnaires, of people sick or something like that, but 5 people are gone. Again, not anything to be nervous about. But the way they're drumming it up, man, they're drumming it up to get a lot of people nervous. People all scared and shit. It's Legionnaires. Is it going to get me? Maybe. Again, a lot of the people who are passing away are old. I mean, it is what it is. The old people will be affected by this. Just how it goes. Yes, they think they're getting it from the cooling centers, but it hasn't been really hot here the last couple of days. It hasn't been hot here the last couple of days, so I don't know. And that's why when I heard a 5th person passed away, I'm like, what, are they hanging out in these cooling centers when they don't need to be? Why are you crying about being called 5G Trevor? I don't know why. Oh, okay. 5G Trevor and I guess 22 Flow are getting into it. Very good. Yeah, but going back to what 5G Trevor saying, yeah, you weren't forced and you had a choice. Rhonda, thank you for the heads up. You had a choice, guys. Everybody who took it had a choice. Period. You either taking it or you're not. But like I said, guys, whatever comes next, they're gonna scare people into taking it. They're gonna scare people really hard in the next one. They're just trying to build up a good narrative and a good story to get you to take it. And then they're gonna force you to take it. And then I think they're gonna be heavy-handed with forcing you to take it. Probably cutting you off from your cash at a bank. I could see them going that far. At least this time around. Flashlight. I thought it was 48%. I thought it was just under 50% of the population. But I could be, No, guys, being forced to take it is being tied down, right? Or being given a choice where you don't have an option. We all had an option. Every last one of us did. And then people are like, listen, I should have took the other option. I didn't, And listen, I when people tell me that they were scared and that's why they took it, I like that answer above any other answer. That makes more sense. You bought into the bullshit, you got scared, and you were like, fuck it, I don't want to, I don't want to disappear. "22 Flowing says," he goes, when you walk in my shoes, again, 22 Flow, it's going to hit you in a couple years that you didn't need to take it. It's going to hit you that you had a choice. You just Your brain was too small to figure out the other choices. You see, the problem is 22 flow. A lot of people had fear as their blocker, right? So fear was blocking them from looking outside of the box. And you were inside of the box with the bullshit, and you believed everything that you were being told, and you were just like, I gotta take this, I'm gonna lose my job. There were other options out there. There are a lot of options out there. You just chose not to look at the other options. That's what it comes down to. It comes down, people didn't want to look at the other options. I was considering driving Uber. I was like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna drive Uber. You can call me Ahmed. I'll wear a fucking thing around my head and I'll drive an Uber car. I don't care. You know, that was gonna be my option. I didn't, I said, you know what? I'm gonna focus on photography. That's good. That was my other option. I started focusing on that. So I started doing a lot of shit. I started to develop a lot of shit. You had people, guys, who didn't want to take the arm ticket, left their jobs, and started their own business. That's an option. And everybody can figure out what that business is going to be. There are a lot more photographers now because of COVID. There are a lot more wedding planners because of Mr. 19. There are a lot more people in a lot of these jobs because they chose to look outside of the box. People like Flow 22 or Flow Water, whatever the hell his name is, he just chose not to look outside of the box. He chose fear. And fear puts blinders on. And fear has you looking straight ahead instead of wondering what's going on. It happened to me in the beginning of Mr. 19. I was wiping everything down in the rig. I fell into the bullshit. I was wiping shit down. I knew I wasn't taking the arm ticket. That much I knew. But I was acting a bit of a bitch. I was wiping shit down. I was like, oh man, I want to get sick. I want to bring it back home. And then when I started going into people's homes who had Mr. 19 and I wasn't getting sick, I was like, fuck this. Why not? You know what? Our immune system will be okay. So then I grew up. I started reading into this shit more, and I'm like, yeah, this is bullshit. Yes, for some people who got it, it sucked, and other people who didn't, we were fine. But yeah, man, we all had a choice. Again, so many people created so many businesses when Mr. 19 hit, when people were fired, let go, told to leave, when jobs closed down because they didn't have enough customers coming into the door. People pivot. The next time this comes around, I hope people have the wherewithal to pivot. People have the wherewithal to be like, you know what, I'm not falling for this twice. I'm going to bounce. I hope. But other than that, guys, I will see some of you on the Angry Truth channel. I'll see the rest of you guys Thursday night for the doubleheader again. I'm going to try to do the walkabout. Even if I do it in the middle of the day, you guys can catch it later. I don't know how else to say it. But I will be scheduling it probably this week. I might even do it Thursday. I might even do an early live stream Thursday in lieu of the 9 o'clock show. We'll see. Or I might do all three. Whatever. If I don't get arrested, then we'll do all three. Other than that, guys, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it as always. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. And I'll see the rest of you guys Thursday. And I am going to have a Wednesday midweek report tomorrow morning to talk about those two stories that I was talking to you about earlier today. Other than that, guys, thank you. Appreciate it. And see some of you guys later. Thanks.